What's going on, guys? You guys are tuned to the Night Crew podcast, where we shine a light on people, the stories, and realities that come alive in the dark. I'm your host, a night shift lifer, a private security vet, and an owner, and someone who has seen the industry from the inside. Tonight, run up till 17, Unhoused versus Homeless. The stories from the night shift. Let's go!
When the sun goes down, the forgotten come out, and the truth has no mercy in the dark.
Riding through the shadows with the ghosts on the street. Night crew in the cold where the heartbeat meet. Bodies on the corners, pain in their eyes. Homeless try to live, unhoused wanna die. Heard her scream in the alley, fence smoke in the air. Life slipping through his fingers, nobody else cares. Politician pay hope, but it fades in the night. They don't see the dead stairs underneath that street light. Families begging shelter while the addicts drift. One fights for tomorrow, one fades in the mist. You learn what suffering is when the world's gone blind. We face demons every night that live inside their mind.
Lost soul stories nobody tells, but we see it.
Rolling through the night where the broken hearts fall. This is the night crew where the truth hits hard. It's out the door. Rolling through the night where the broken hearts fall. This is the night.
What's going on, guys? You guys are tuned to the Night Crew podcast. Tonight, we're on episode 17, Unhoused versus Homeless, the night shift story. But wait. Before we get into it, we have a new energy drink. Lucky 7. TikTok made me do it, I swear. I bought a couple cases of these, and they look promising. I was on my way to Cal Saga, and I stopped at a gas station, and they had one of these in there. I tried it, and I said, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" But I couldn't wait for a podcast, so I drank it on the way. But tonight, this is mango pineapple. Let's check the pool. It's always in the pool. This is amazing. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 5 super ingredients. And it's got about 200 milligrams of caffeine, the same as Ghost. But these are on the rise. I'm liking them. Shout out to Lucky for making these energy drinks. They're amazing. You get that pineapple, that mango taste. It's natural. Doesn't taste like it's been saturated with a bunch of other crap out there. So I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna have to give this one like a 9 out of 10 right now. Okay, these are my favorite right now. All right.
When the world goes quiet, that's when the truth starts talking. Welcome to the Night Crew podcast.
Oh, we ride through the shadows where the lost souls cry. Night crew on patrol while the city drives by. Homeless need help, unhoused choose pain, but they lump them all together like the streets ain't changed. Seen a body on the sidewalk with a pulse getting weak. Fentanyl in the veins, ain't been home in weeks. Politicians love to talk, but they don't walk these blocks. They never chase the ghosts from behind these locks. Family sleep in cars while the addicts roam free. A mother holding children, but the news won't see. We the ones answering calls when the midnight hits, picking up the pieces that the sister forgets. In the dark you learn fast what's real, what's fake. Who's fighting demons and who's fighting to escape. We don't judge the journey, we just witness the truth.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back. You got to tune to Night Crew podcast. Tonight's episode is now that we're getting closer to the holidays. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of programs out there for those that are experiencing homelessness, and you're going to see a lot of philanthropy out there where people are giving, you know. And plus, it's kind of at the end of the year; they kind of have to if they're business owners. Just kidding. But tonight, for me, it hit hard. Because anyone living in California, Bakersfield to be exact, or anyone in the U.S., we're breaking down something that most people get wrong, and society puts everything in one category. We have our city leaders that put it in one category, but there's a difference between homeless and being unhoused. Got two labels, two completely different realities, and society mashes them together. It says, "Oh, that's what it is. Homeless is homeless," and because of that, nothing's going to change. Nothing changes. Money gets wasted. Communities get frustrated. Police get overwhelmed, and private security, for those that are in the private sector like me, we end up in the front line of a system that's built on the wrong definitions. And tonight, we're going to talk about what those labels really mean. Why nonprofits keep getting funded to fix a problem that never gets fixed. And why the unhoused crisis keeps growing. Where does private security fit in all of this? And yeah, we're also bringing in the numbers. I got receipts. That's the real statistics in the United States, California, and right here in Kern County. There are two different categories of homelessness. Okay. One category you have as homeless. Okay. These are people that want housing but don't have it. They're families, people who lost their jobs, victims of domestic violence. You see this. People price out of the market. People who want services and accept them. Maybe they lost their job. They bet hard times. Things happen. They lost their house. Things happen. And they are typically the ones that benefit from the shelters, the caseworkers, the rehab programs, and the transitional housing. But then you have the unhoused. And a lot of you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about when I say unhoused. And it's individuals living outdoors by choice or refusal for help. People suffering from addiction who reject rehab or shelter. Those refusing shelter due to the rules. They don't want to be, no one wants to be told what to do. They're on the streets for a reason. Individuals with chronic mental illness who don't accept treatment. And people involved in theft, vandalism, trespassing, and violent behavior. This is the population driving the crisis, where most communities are frustrated and they're not the same as homeless. You know, they always say, "Oh, that stupid homeless guy over there." No, that unhoused person, that person that is there by choice. And why does this society, why does community leaders, why do these nonprofits, why do they all lump it together? It's easier. Politically correct, right? If you see someone talking to themselves out in the streets, 3 o'clock in the morning, you're going to assume homeless. But cities avoid backlash by using the soft language. Nonprofits get bigger grant numbers when they don't separate groups. Media avoids sounding judgmental. Of course, nonprofits, they need that money. They need funding. Sometimes they get overfunded. But they need the funding, and if they were to separate the two, unhoused due to chronic drug addiction and homeless due to job loss, these nonprofit organizations would not have a market for services. Might as well go back to their regular 9-to-5 jobs they had 2 years ago before they decided to get into a nonprofit. But my opinion on when you lump everyone together, okay, all in one big category, I think we buried the real problem. Okay. In a national study of 60,000 homeless, drug overdoses caused 24.2 of all deaths out of that 60,000. An overdose is now the leading cause of death among homeless and unhoused. In 2020, the overdose death rate among unhoused people was 986 deaths per 1,000. That is really high. In California, oh God, hold on, guys. Hold on, California. It's going to be a long one. I'm just kidding. But California has the largest crisis in the country. 187,000 people experiencing homelessness, 24% of the entire U.S. total. You have to ask yourself, in California, what are we doing? Mortality rates among Californians' unhoused population has tripled since 2011. Again, we ask, what are we doing? In LA County, 2023, 45% of all the unhoused deaths were drug and alcohol overdoses. 70.4% of overdose deaths involve fentanyl. It's not just a housing issue. This is an addiction, mental health, and refusal of service issue. But hey, they're homeless, right? They're homeless. Okay, in Kern County, where I live, where you live, if you live here, in our own backyard, you got 2,606 people were counted during a 2025 point-in-time count called the pit count. 1,113 people were sheltered, and 1,393 were unsheltered. And this is a 2.3% decrease from last year, but still dramatically higher than the years before. And 653 people self-reported substance abuse disorder. 245 people reported serious mental illness. 64% are single adults with no children. In Kern County overdose deaths, 308 opioid-related deaths in the most recent year. 675 opioid-related ER visits. I mean, someone is overdosed and they got put in the hospital. And opioid mortality rate is 36.8 deaths per 100,000, nearly doubling the California average. And after looking at all these statistics, I noticed that the 2.3 decrease from last year, it didn't make sense to me. Call it what it is, guys, dang it. Because I had to go back and I wanted to look at numbers. So in 2023, there was 1,948 homeless. In 2024, there was 2,669, which is a 37% jump. Okay. We may say, they got bust here or whatever. And in 2025, there was 2,606, which is a 2.3 drop from 2024. And you just can't, I'm sorry. You can't go from a 37% explosion in homelessness in 1 year to a 2% decrease the next year. This, to me, is not explained housing services or enforcement because none of them change enough to justify this kind of swing. Okay? The sheltered versus unsheltered numbers contradict the trends. You know, in 2024, unsheltered, you got 1,663. In 2025, you have unsheltered, 1,393. That is a drop from 270 people outside. Even though there was no new big shelter facilities that opened up since the low barrier facility, no massive outreach surge happened that I noticed, that I've seen, and no crackdown reduced encampments. I'm starting to see them a little bit more now. Hence the new year. And no new state funding solved addiction. We got a bunch of Narcans running around. Yet, these point in time, these pit counts claim hundreds disappeared from the streets. How? How does 270 people just disappear? If you guys are out in the street, if you guys are out there working on the streets, and you guys, I've dealt with the same homeless person for the last 10 years. What do you mean? The following year, they just disappeared. Security, police, businesses in Bakersfield consistently report increases, not decreases. I see a lot of increasing, not a whole lot of decreasing. But I like it. It's good for us. Kern County pit counts are known to be inconsistent. Okay. And you have rotating volunteer groups. You have temporary staffs. You got different count nights. Sometimes the weather conditions can change, which would migrate a homeless individual that's typically normally used to being here, and now they're going to go there. And the 2024 and 2025 numbers, they hide something very, very important. Because 2024 was a big spike, and 2025 was just a little bit, just a beep. I believe that politics plays a key role in these numbers here. Okay. In 2024, the numbers were embarrassing to the city and county officials, the mayor, the chief, the sheriff. Everyone's looking at them. Everyone in California is looking at them like, what the hell are you guys doing? Embarrassing. A 37% jump. Wow. Terrible. And in 2025, numbers conveniently showed a slight improvement, a 2.7% decrease.
New point in time count report released the number of people experiencing homelessness in Kern County. This year, they're happy to report a decrease.
We had a 2.3% decrease. That's the first time in a long time that we have seen a decrease.
Eyewitness News.
And whenever you see that 37% jump followed by a 2% decrease, it doesn't, to me, it's not improvement. That's reporting stabilization to avoid backlash. Nobody wants to be embarrassed anymore. No one wants to be the laughing stock of the neighborhood. Stop laughing at me. The numbers are inconsistent, unrealistic, and easily challenged. I challenge Kern County on these numbers. I challenge the city officials to actually have accurate numbers, because me as a security owner officer, I see a shit ton of homeless people. That contradicts these yearly reports that they push out. More so last year, I looked at the numbers and I said, that's not good. Still not good. Every night, anyone that's on patrol, anyone that works security, law enforcement, you're dealing with people at between 2 and 4 a.m. You got the barefoot fentanyl users. You have the trespassers at medical plazas. You have the individuals just sitting there having in the middle of the street having conversations with themselves. These are not homeless families. These are unhoused individuals refusing services, refusing structure, and cycling through addiction. Now, here's the part that no one wants to talk about. There's an elephant in the room, and everyone refuses to acknowledge the elephant in the room. But I'm going to acknowledge him. Nonprofits profit from the problem. Okay? The bigger the crisis, the bigger the grants. Money, 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 money. Their numbers.
Up in your house, and what you got? You throw the card in there, boom, or somebody else's card, boom, like that. More money, more money, more money.
If the difference between homelessness and unhoused was acknowledged, the numbers would be cut in half. Their funding would be cut in half. The narrative would change. I get, I'm sorry, but it makes me sick when I see these nonprofits, getting these big, giant grants for what? You have about 500 actual homeless people, and you have another 1,500 people that are out on the streets that are sitting here talking to themselves, barefooted, smoking out of a pipe. That person you want to help so bad. And so what happens? Everyone stays homeless, even if they're refusing housing, service, and treatment. They always say, I'm going to think about it. And you come back to the next day, they said, yeah, I talked to God. He said, I don't need any help. What? How the data gets misused is pit counts only reflect one night, but it still shows over 2,600 in Kern County. Nonprofits report the same numbers year after year. Many unhoused individuals refuse detox, shelter, case management, rehab, mental health treatment, and they remain on the streets and becoming the repeat subjects that you see every single night if you are on patrol. The system doesn't improve because solving the crisis means losing funding. And here's where the saviors, private security, come in. Us security officers and guards, we deal with the daily threat of unhoused individuals. Trespassing, loitering, drug use, fires in encampments, vandalism, theft, aggressive behavior, mental health episodes, overdose situations, repeat offenders refusing help. But what we cannot do, we deal with it, we see it, we respond to it the best way we can, but what we can't do is we cannot force someone into rehab. We cannot force them to get help, okay? Charlie, come on, man. You got to get in some kind of housing. Oh, yeah, I'm working on it. I'm always working on it. You cannot arrest them for being high. Oh, Kareem. We can't remove them from public property. We cannot fix their addiction. We cannot solve untreated mental illness. Yet we're expected to manage all of this. This is why our jobs in private security matters more than people realize, okay? When you're doing your patrols out there, you're dealing with people where the mortality rate is 3.75% higher. Overdose are leading cause of death. Fentanyl is involved in 70% of the deaths. Mental illness and addiction are widespread. Local ERs see hundreds of drug-related emergencies. People are dying on sidewalks, parks, behind buses, in alleyways. That's not homeless. That's being unhoused, and the system refuses to acknowledge it. Words shape policy. Policy shapes funding. Funding shapes what cities actually do. Okay? When we call everyone homeless, addiction gets hidden behind housing issues. Crime gets hidden behind poverty. Mental illness gets hidden with lack of resources. Nonprofits keep getting funded to solve homelessness. Instead of treating addiction, communities blame security for harassing the homeless when reality is a whole lot freaking different. I don't like to harass the homeless people. When they're coming off of fentanyl, they're very, very mean. When they're coming off of opiates, they're very, very mean. When they're high for meth, when they want to get high for meth, they're very, very mean people. So trust me, I don't like dealing with them. I don't like them. But the truth is simple. Homelessness describes someone who wants help, and unhoused describes someone who refuses it. And confusing the two is the reason why nothing's going to change. We're going to continue to walk around in this cycle of allowing and watching people die by the numbers, watching your brother, watching your sister, watching your cousin, your mom, your dad die of fentanyl overdose because the city, the counties, the state, the United States refuses to categorize these subjects. And there is a dark reality. by any means. It is deadly. The national mortality death rate risk 3.5 times higher than housed individuals. Overdose kills 1 in 4 unhoused adults nationally. Someone's dying right now from a drug overdose. California's death rate for unhoused people has tripled since 2011. Gavin Newsom. In LA County, 2023, 45% of deaths among unhoused were overdose. 70% were involved fentanyl. Kern County local opioid death is 308 in 1 year. So when you security officers are out on patrol, you're not just dealing with complaints. You're dealing with someone who may be overdosing, psychotic, violently intoxicated, if you guys work in bars, or minutes away from dying. This is a life and death situation, not a political situation. Okay. I carry this with me. Okay. This is a Narcan. It's a 009. It's kind of bulky, but whatever. But it has a, if I can get the dang thing, it has Narcan in them. And so I decided to buy it because I see so many people out there on the ground, spun out, gargling. I don't know how many people this year I've actually assisted with Narcan. I'm tired of it. I'm a security guard. Wait, you know what? I'm a security officer. Okay. Is this my job? No. And when I'm on shift, I'd rather carry this than to carry this. Why? For one, how often am I going to use this? I'm going to probably save 3 lives tonight before I save 1 life today from gunshot wound. California has spent tens of billions trying to fix homelessness. Billions! You know what? And before I let you guys go, let's talk about the leadership real quick. Okay, specifically, Governor Gavin Newsom. Not politically, but being realistic here. Okay, remember, I'm just a security guard. But California has spent tens of billions of dollars trying to fix homelessness. Billions! On paper, I love it.
State audit confirm as the state legislative audit committee released a report saying that homeless numbers jumped 53% in the last decade, with an estimated 180,000 people unhoused in California. That's despite the spending of more than $20 billion to stop it.
My initial reaction is that this is a big problem.
But the statewide homeless count is still over 187,000. Encampments still dominate major cities. Overdose still rises every year. But here is the truth. These programs are designed to help homeless, not the unhoused who refuses it. You can build all the housing in the world. You can put all these cool programs. You can have a church and you can put a big old apartment complex next to it. But here is the God honest truth. Many unhoused individuals will not go inside. They will not step foot in one of those housing developments due to their addiction, the rules, or their mental health issues. I remember Karen Bass, LA County, said, every homeless person, everyone, you guys are all moving into apartment house. You guys are moving into housing. They put them in housing, and you put people that are addicted, that are on addiction, that are struggling from severe mental illness inside of a room, and they burn it.
Eyewitness News has learned the homeless encampment under the 101 freeway at Cahuenga Boulevard has returned. This was the site of one of the first cleanup jobs under Mayor Karen Bass's Inside Safe program. That is the initiative to bring homeless people indoors to affordable housing, temporary hotel rooms, or shelter placed across the city. We've reached out to the mayor for comment about the return of the encampment, have not heard back yet.
You can fast track construction, but you can't force someone to detox. And the state continues to keep throwing these housing-based solutions at an addiction-driven population. Make it make sense. Until California separates homeless from unhoused and designs policies for both, the crisis will stay exactly where they are. Now, I'm not here to blame anybody. I'm not here to shame anyone. I'm not here to talk bad about policies and programs that are out here, but I'm trying to provide a little clarity to people. Homeless and unhoused are not the same thing. Their needs are not the same. The risks are not the same. Their future is not the same. I'm sorry, but until we separate the two, cities will continue wasting money. Nonprofits will continue getting funded. Communities will continue getting frustrated. Police will still stay overwhelmed, and private security will continue to stay employed. And at the front line of all these particular places where homelessness is unhoused. See, as you can see, I'm calling these unhoused people homeless. The truth matters, the definitions matter, and the way we create the real solutions is by starting to call things for what they truly are. I have tried helping so many people out. Okay. Just 2 weeks ago, I tried helping someone and getting them service. And I said, give me 1 second. I'm going to go run back. I had another card in one of my other vehicles. And I go back there, they're gone.
What kind of resources? Just helping you guys get in better, maybe helping you guys get in some housing, or maybe getting you guys access to food programs, or hygiene, etc. Oh, that'd be pretty cool. Okay. That'd be pretty cool. Do you have like because I don't have a phone anymore. Okay, I see. So I'm gonna run. I'm gonna come back. I had a couple of cards I can give you guys, and that way you guys can make that initial first step if you guys like to.
So they were not willing to wait 7 to 10 minutes for a resource because that's not what they wanted. So I'm all out of time, guys. Talked a lot, but I think this stuff is important. I think sometimes we lose focus and we lose track of what's really going on in our backyards. And I think if we continue to allow, the counties, the cities, the state, to continue to call all this, to clump these all together and call them homeless, there'll never be change. Let me know what you guys think. Send me a message. Send a comment. What's your thoughts on this matter? A lot of it has to do with security because cops don't want to deal with it, so they have us deal with it. Our security, let them deal with some people. All right, guys, I'm all out of time. It's been real. I love it. And being able to tell the difference on homelessness and unhoused matters. If you guys like this podcast, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. If you guys know someone that's experiencing homelessness, I have a link at the bottom. You can click on that. Or otherwise, you guys can message us at a Nice Watch Patrol on Instagram. I can try to point you in the right direction. I've worked with a few nonprofit groups out here, so I'll point you in the right direction. I can't say that you're going to get what you want in the same exact day, but I'm sure it's a lead to a resource, and sometimes that's all someone needs. For the nights are dark and full of terror.
This has been the Night Crew.
Stay sharp. Stay safe. I'll catch you on the next shift.